Okay, so I've been waiting for the other one to finish downloading. I think it's about to go. You can never tell. I swear to God, I can't even tell you how many times it'll be at the end and it starts all the way back over. It's just so weird. I don't know. There's so many weird things. But as soon as I finished, and then I, I I still have my TikTok stuff, that I'm gonna put on. I'm just not gonna do so much scrolling because it's just kind of frustrating because it just seems like it's like the same beating of the same dead horse over and over and over and over and over again. And I totally get that everybody's at different levels, but see, that's where I have to recognize my level, and I have to be able to shift out of, something that maybe fed my psyche before isn't going to be the same thing it needs now, because now I find it super frustrating to just watch these people just, oh my God, it's like it's like all these broken records or something. That's what it's like to me when I go on there. And just kind of, I don't know, there's a lot that need to break loose. It's just like this energy needs to break loose. And I feel like it's close. But after what I was just talking about, and I went on there, and it was the first thing or something that popped up. Like, I don't remember if I was downloading something. And so, whatever, however long it takes, I'll scroll past some. And if something's interesting, I'll listen. But the thing that was weird was because I was just talking about this, and then this girl popped up, and I'd never seen her before. I didn't know who she was. And I am not shitting you. These words were coming out of her mouth. I am an influencer. I'm an influencer. I'm an influencer. She said about 200,000 times. I've been an influencer for a long time. I've been an influencer ever since I was on Instagram, and now I'm on TikTok. And I can help explain to you how to transition so you can be an influencer on TikTok and transition out of Instagram. And so I'm an influencer. Don't forget about that. And I got this really super cute, hot influencer boyfriend. We're both influencers, and we have been influencers. We've been influencing for a long time because we're influencers. And so I have an agent because I got my new cool podcast. And, and I'm telling you, this person's face is so full of injections and all sorts of stuff. Like, this person looks like it's like they sell this anime look or something, this overdone. I don't even know how to explain it. Either you get it or you don't get it. But anyways, so she's explaining what a great influencer she is and has been for, and her wonderful new agent and where she books out of, and her new fabulous podcast as a spiritual influencer, because she's at the top of the game, whoever this person is, and I don't even know what the hell is she's explaining to people about on her podcast, because every fucking thing I heard come out of her mouth was about how she's an influencer, and the picture she's showing is her like outfits and her makeup. She even has one video, this was a video that I was going past, and she was one thing you're not allowed to do is watch horror movies in my house. And she was saying, and her whole thing was spiritual. She's a spiritual leader here in the community. And so that is where I went on a look, like, okay, so caught one right here. Here's one, got hot one right here on the line. So I went in to look at her account, and it was her in a little outfit dancing. And a lot of these videos where these people use someone else's words, and then they just go on and either mimic and lip sync or react or something, but it's someone else's words, which, think about it. And then so you're influencing with someone else's words. It's like you just read it out of a book, or like, what's going on here? And so then this is the thing I'm saying. This is where people have to use their own discernment, I right when I was waiting for my one to download, and I was sitting there watching it, and the video that is going across is another spiritual person explaining how to manifest abundancy in this three-dimensional world, how to just keep yourself right there, just holding on. That's your God right there, is just go for that. Go for the gusto, go for the big bucks. I'll teach you how. And I don't know what this girl is influencing besides telling people, don't bring your scary movies in to her house. You're not allowed. That is whatever energy or whatever. And to me, I know energy is what you give into it. It's what you put into it. And so one of the videos that I was going through, she did say something like that. But for how many times her whole video is her just standing there in an outfit. You can't even see her boyfriend's head. He's like taller or something, or she just blanks it out. And then it's just about her outfit, and then close-ups on her makeup and stuff. And that is, this is part of the superficial, the artificial world. And besides that one too, I saw there's another one, just right what I was speaking about, like telling, like, they'll tell people certain things, but then it's like, so when you go to McDonald's, make sure you get the coffee mojito, joke, whatever. And it's like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it is this. It is so, to me, it is like this ego driven, not going deeper, not healing themselves. It's just finding a new role to play. Like, and it's kind of trendy. Like, it's trending to be spiritual. So I'm going to jump on board. No, I'm going to be an influencer. I'm a spiritual influencer. Look at my cute outfit and my cute boyfriend. And it's like, I don't even know. But this is what I was talking about earlier. So you have these people who are just like, oh my God, 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 oh my God. Just over and over and over and over and over. Sharing clips because they got to give evidence. Everybody, you need to see this evidence. You need to see this evidence. And the crazy thing is the people that can't see it is, they just can't see it. They don't see it. Because as soon as they see, this is what I found, because especially when I was on Nextdoor, and old Ted Royal, I always wonder if I see him when I'm standing at some crotchety old man. But so him constantly coming at me, don't be saying that unless you got the evidence. You better bring in the evidence. And then plus it was the other one, Matt Savage. Oh my Lord. And they would always be telling me I needed to bring evidence. There's not a goddamn thing I could say if I didn't have evidence. And I was like, what the fucking Nazi bullshit is this? And so even when I pointed that out to them, they were, oh my God, I can't even, it's good sometimes when that stuff leaves your life. Like, it's good. Like, that's what people are not seeing right now. Their life's getting turned upside down. You're losing things that it's good to lose them. Like, they're not doing good for you. You are attached to them. You think they're doing something for you, but really they're taking from you. And so the universe is doing you a favor, even though it's painful to have something torn away when you're holding on to it. But they would always be like, show me the evidence, show me the evidence. And I would send articles. I would send in all this evidence. And it was constantly, oh, that's some alt-right propaganda, whatever. So they would go through this whole thing and discount anything that was said that wasn't coming from the source that they believed in. And then I would say, well, you send me your evidence. You show me. And then they would send me like the Huffington Post article, or all this stuff that I knew was propaganda, especially I already had come from that side. It wasn't like I didn't know what these things were. they're very leaning in one direction. They're only giving one perspective. They're getting you to look at things through the way they look at them. And so much of it is bought and paid for by the people who are trying to influence us and control us. And so those, oh, it really is sickening. Like, they'll Kim and then just any old, damn, any old girl, just grab her on. Oh, here's an influencer. Here's the big, it's like a pyramid system. It's like ridiculous. So, anyways, when I went off on my whole rant on that. But let me think, what was I talking about? The influencer thing. Just I can't get that out of my head. The influencer. It's like that is what they're doing, is influencing people, especially as people wake up. And then they're just pushing them in the wrong direction to continue to chase this artificial life, this manufactured existence, this unfulfilling reality. It is like to keep people just on that hamster wheel, but get the gear, get their merch, that's the thing. And that is also like what I was talking about earlier when I was saying about like the spiritual people who are selling their stuff. Like there is a whole great thing, like, because people have to take care of themselves, but also how far do you stand in what you believe in? To me, I'm willing, I lose everything. I'm fine. I'm fine. I realized what's important. I realized what I really need to be happy. It's not all of this stuff. And so all of this stuff can even become more like a burden at times because people become so protective of their stuff. And like you see, it becomes more of a ego driven. I got to have nicer stuff. I got to buy cooler stuff. I got to have the newer stuff, so everybody gets wrapped up in it. And that is what these influencers are constantly trying to sell. And these spiritual people who are leading people to just stay focused on this dimension, this world. Stay focused on your dollhouse and look at the cute furniture you can get for it. And if you're really super cool like me, you could buy all sorts of clothes, and I'll show you where to shop, and I'll show you where to get your lips done and where to get your filler and all of that stuff. Just follow me and I'll show you where to get it done. And while you're at it, we'll talk about how scary ghosts are and aliens. Ooh, it's like and it is so ego driven. Like, I'm not shitting you. Some of these people are probably MK Ultra'd to the point that they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. Some of them are so ego driven they don't even care. It's like, as long as I'm popular and as long as I'm getting what I want, I'm getting attention. That is that empty shell of a person, attention, attention, attention. I don't care what it is, any kind. And I don't care how destructive it is to society. Just give me more, give me more, give me more. And that is the part of humanity, a part of the whole sea of people, of the destructiveness, is that self-centeredness. So it's not, that is the downfall of an ego-driven society, when everything is just about the person. You have to start understanding how things affect everyone. You have to start seeing how things have to work to keep the river flowing of energy, and so it is, people have to come together and create that world. And they can't be having their own problems and bringing their own toxic energy into the river, because it disrupts the flow. It disrupts the ecosystem of the thing. And so to even get into a harmonious state of existence, you have to be able to become, you have to detoxify yourself. And it is like detoxifying isn't just the chemicals and toxins and additives and poisons and all that stuff. It is also your heart and your mind and your soul. There's so much toxicity that we have been accustomed to surviving in. But the thing is it became comfortable for some people. And that's why I was talking about some people have just become kind of like evil because they've fed that energy and it's fed them back. And that is, that's their soul stuff to learn. We don't have to worry about every single one. But when we start to recognize the potential, when we all come together, and stop just living as it's all about me, it's all about me. And that has been coming so much to the surface as the absurdity, like where people were like, no, you can't say Merry Christmas, that hurts my feelings. You can't do this, you can't say that. You have to, people were getting crazy. Like, you got to use the proper pronouns or people are being offended. And people are going around completely androgynous or looking like the opposite gender and then being offended if you don't say the right thing. It's like, you need to work on yourself. And not only that, like you're setting up drama. You're just trying to create drama. Like there's no reason a person who is logical and would go out and do that and then think, like, if I went out and completely looked like, dressed like a guy, fixed like a guy, nothing girly, and somebody mistook me for a guy, I mean, how ridiculous of me to be offended by that. So there's like mental illness out there just running the world. And it isn't just the bad people. It's the people who have fed into that kind of energy and that is where their soul's not awakened. And and I think this is my thing, is where I get the most judgmental about, is just about, I don't know, it's kind of how blind people are or something, and how, I don't know, it's something about limitations and limiting beliefs and stuff. Like, I can see why going through this, it really it irritates me on so many parts. But I know that the irritating, that is where you think of like the devil doing their work. And then, so, what you grow through it. And so then it turns into something good. So it's the yin and the yang. But it is, this slow kind of the way this just drags out, and this shitty weather, and you can't get caught up on time or anything. You have to just relax into the storm, and ride it out. There's nothing that you can do, and the more that you make yourself miserable, the more miserable you are. So you have to figure out ways to make yourself happy and content, even when life's not going in the direction that you want it to. And so to me, I'm learning lots of stuff going through it. And then, being somebody who's out there trying to wake people up, it, it teaches you more compassion and empathy for the people who are asleep. But there's a lot of things that are frustrating to me in the whole thing, and those are my challenges. And everything going on is so you get an opportunity to face those challenges. So those things are going to be pushed at you, so that you have to keep looking at them and trying to really observe yourself and observe how you feel about things. And so you have a deeper understanding of yourself, basically. But there is a whole thing to us all becoming, it's like the tribe. That's how I see it always, is like this tribe mind. Like a tribe, of like different tribes, they wouldn't just go and do something unless it was going to work for everybody. Like, it was more all inclusive. It is all inclusive in a level that we don't even understand, because it keeps people so divided, and people feed that energy like gleefully. Like they're just like, yeah. And they look for things to divide on. And that is another thing that I see with these influencers and these spiritual leaders and stuff like that is the division stuff. And I guess that is something that they really offend a lot of people because they're so hard on people. And it's just like, I don't know, it's so much different than anything I understand about spirituality. Because in my understanding about spirituality, it is, the whole thing is understanding that this is a spiritual world. The only thing outside of the spiritual world is the world that you put yourself into to live, to experience. And you just, like in this one, the thing that's confusing is not all of these are like this, is that the people are so confused, but as part of the lessons, is part of how have the biggest impact. And like I said before, if you had, I mean, just look how confusing it is, like, thinking about your day. If you were having all of your thoughts and stuff for all of your different lives going on, how that would be so much stimulus. Most people would just short out. They couldn't do it. So there has to be like this veil. So it's kind of like horses when they have to put those visor things on the side of their eyes to keep them focused. So it's kind of like that is what a veil is more like. But the veil, it becomes see-through when you begin to question it, when you begin to recognize that there's a veil. When you see that there's a veil and you know something's being hidden and you ask the questions, that is when the veil starts to be lifted. But you are doing the work because you're going out and trying to look into, see what it is that you're looking through. And to see, so you understand the lens of sight that you are experiencing in it. So it's all part of this whole process in the awakening. And so the to me, the souls, let's see, what was it? I was starting to say something a second ago, and then I started to think about what I said earlier, and then I was like, wait a minute, you already talked about that. And I was like, no, this is a different thing than just we're about to talk about. And then you start talking about that. So anyways, it is about so here in this something about souls, because I think I've made it clear about life and death. Death only exists in your mind of what death is, because death isn't real. And it's just to keep you scared, so you do what they say while you're alive, because you have a set death date. There's no changing that. It wouldn't matter what all you did. It wouldn't matter, whatever you do in that time that you're alive is what you are there to experience. It happens automatically. And even if you were to try and go in the wrong direction, you find out it's hitting into a wall. And there are people, when they don't have an understanding of spiritual, yeah, that's what I was talking about. When they don't have an understanding of the spiritual, then they think that they can control that, and that can lead to all sorts of frustration, drugging yourself, and why can't I do this? Why can't I make this work? This other guy, or good for him, why can't I make this work? If this is what I want, this is what I desire. And so it just becomes this where people just beating their head on the thing. But that is for somebody to learn, because part of the lessons is to tune into yourself, like what I was talking about earlier, is to start attaching to your higher self for your guidance. Start listening to your guidance. And to me, about what spirituality is all about is this understanding of the world. To me, it's mysticism or something, because it is understanding that everything is about spiritual. Everything in the world, everything in existence, if you were to use words and stuff, is about spiritual. It is because everything, we are spirits, and everything is not real. Like what people think of like, this is real life, this is real. The other stuff isn't real. The other stuff is real. And you know more clearly who and what you are. So you aren't being influenced by somebody who is mind controlling you. And, and I swear to God, I'm seeing this mind control on so many levels. It is weird. And so to me, when I went through it, it was a lot on your own. There wasn't, these spiritual gurus out here that are telling you what to do. Like, even if you went to try and look stuff up, oftentimes that's what got me to be more claiming Buddhism for a while, is because when I would look stuff up, it would be spiritual stuff, would be Buddhist and meditation, Eastern philosophy and stuff like that. So I started thinking, well, I just am more in alignment with that, not so much Western. I always saw Western as being fake, and I mean, not as clear as what I see now, because I would have never went in and become a nurse. I would have never gone to school like that. There's so many things I would have done differently in my life if I would have seen life through the lenses that I'm seeing it through now. But all of this stuff that I went through taught me to be who I am. So I'm not going to sit and whine and cry about it. you know, it is your life journey, and there's no reason to sit there and, get all upset about it. But to me, it is opening your mind to what does it mean if you're a spirit? If you're a spirit having a spiritual experience, and everything is about your expansion, and everything is souls, and everything is about learning and becoming more together, which is acceptance and unity and loving each other. And that's why it's a part of our evolution right now, is this unity and coming together, but also your sovereignty, being an independent soul, and being independent in your sovereignty of self-care, taking care of yourself, being willing to take care of yourself, and to live harmoniously with the planet. Like, it's a lot of levels. And there's a lot of levels in spirituality, because when you start realizing you're a soul and everything around you is alive, and everything is a soul that is communicating with you, and then it starts taking you out of the three-dimensional, it takes you out of the dollhouse. Like, you can't just stay in the dollhouse. And that is what is always where people, I always feel like, are kind of like pulling me back and wanted me to talk about life in the dollhouse. And so I keep trying to talk about life outside of it. And they want to talk about, yeah, but what about this? Wouldn't this look good here? And it's like, yeah, but there's more to everything. And everybody is just, playing their part, because they're still in the game. They haven't gotten to that part of waking up. And that is like why the game has to suddenly, I don't know, is it suddenly going to just shift? Like a huge, well, we know the huge shift is going to happen because of financial collapse, all of that stuff. That's for sure happening. What they're going to keep doing to us to try and stop it, that continues to happen. So these attacks and the attacks on the planet, and so all of that, and whatever is going to get us to the point where we finally, get a break free, that will be fucking glorious, man. And but the whole spiritual thing is, you don't need to have somebody. You need, the spiritual path is the connection to yourself. It's through yourself to yourself. And there's so much to it. It's so complex, because it's about finding balance. It's about understanding who and what you are. It's about understanding who and what this place is. It's about understanding how to take care of yourself. You're part in the universe. You're part of the earth. Like, there's like so many things to start having awareness to. And I mean, when you see these people who are, the spiritual people still pushing like aliens and uh, ghosts, like pushing these concepts. That's what I mean when I hear stuff that is just like, it's frustrating to me. And, but see, that's still part of this process of what people have to go through to get to the part to really start understanding life on a higher perspective. And it is, it's expansion of your mind. And so to me, the spiritual thing is so individual. You cannot tell anybody because their spirit, their soul tells them. You can't tell them, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. Right away, you're losing your spirituality. You're then being influenced. You're following someone else's path. They say you have to not eat meat. You have to pray 15 minutes a day. Like, you see where the rules start coming in more and more and more, and how people start to influence your relationship with your creator. But that is people allowing people to influence their relationship with their creator, because the creator is talking to you inside of you. And nobody is privy to that conversation. And nobody knows the level you are at in your own studies, because so much stuff I talk about sounds crazy. And I know that, like, I'm completely aware. Stuff I talk about sounds crazy, especially to people that don't understand. But my understanding is just way past what other people are. And this kind of, I think it kind of came across as snotty the other day when I was talking to somebody, and I didn't mean it like this, but it really is. I said, I don't go in there and watch somebody who is talking about stuff I knew a long time ago. And then plus they're saying stuff about it that isn't even true. I find that frustrating. And this person was like, because I was kind of like, it's like they're talking about old stuff to me. And then this person was kind of like, oh, well, I probably talk about old stuff. And it's like, but it's, some people have a different presentation of things, Some people are more coming like from a humble kind of perspective or something. I heard humble beginnings, but that kind of, it's a different presentation. And then these egomaniac influencers that, just want you to stay focused on this 3D, what can you get here? This, you want to find success or whatever. To me, I would like to have like a different homes kind of spread out, like kind of like a grid across the world, so I could just go to different homes and go into different communities and just hang out. And I don't understand mansions. Like, why do you need a house that you don't even go in most of it? Then you have to have people clean it. Then you got to keep it clean. You got to keep it heated and cooled. And there's not anybody living in it. I would much rather have, I don't know. I'd rather have kind of separate buildings. Like I would like a studio shop, a house. I would kind of like a guest house, my own house, and then like a studio shop, and then like a little farm barn thing too. So, and have a whole bunch. I don't know. I kind of feel like Kentucky, but I think you have to look at the doomsday map. No matter what, the earth is going to change. That's part of the cycles. When you really start understanding about spiritual stuff and things being alive, and it is kind of like, for us rolling over in the bed so we can lay on the other side. It's kind of like that. The earth is shifting, things shift around, and so we're going to have a different landscape. And I do think it's going to be a lot more tropical. I think that it's going to be cool with the weather. I don't know if there will be some places that are really cold. I don't know if it really will flip and the hot places are going to go cold and the cold places go hot. I don't know. And a lot of this stuff is just for us to wait and see how it all is going to play out. But it is, definitely there is going to be a change in the landscape. I think that they're probably right on with the map, especially when you consider the fact they've had looking glass and how much they've been focused on this. They've been so scared of this awakening. They've been focusing on it for a long time. So when they're putting a map out like that, probably is to signal each other where to go buy land. So I would go look at those maps, and I would find some places, and buy some places. And I don't know how long it's going to take. It could be a slow thing of the water rising, or it could be fast. Like that one movie I watched the other day said New York was going to be underwater within 5 years. So, and I've heard that about Florida. But then we had Gore out there saying that. So then you just don't know how much of it is to try and scare you, so you will pay the taxes and buy the no, I don't even know what all this stuff, the stuff to prevent climate change. Buy all the stuff, like when you get the appliances, the smart appliances, people buying all this smart stuff, and now the smart stuff is doing its own thing and being operated by someone outside of your house. So it's all trappings. They're all trappings of control. And so anyways, it really is like people really have to, just because somebody is wearing cute clothes and has cute hair and agents, agents. I have watched a lot since 2020 when I went on and started watching different people. Even Mr. Ballin, he did all that himself. He started his own education. They go and start these podcasts and stuff. And then you've got this spiritual person who only seems to be able to talk about what she looks like and what great influencer she is. And you think she's not handed a script over what to tell you? It's, yeah, somebody's in control. She's a puppet. And they try and find puppets that are pretty so that people will just, do what the pretty person says or something. I don't know. But anyways, it is this whole thing of each person has to wake up and do their own expansion to self, see through the illusion, question things, and don't be restricted on other people's ideas of spirituality. What you may know something so far beyond what this person knows, but you're holding it back because you're worried of being judged. You're worried that people are going to think you're crazy. So you could be far advanced from what they think because of where they're looking at something, their perspective. You could have done other lives that you learned, so you know more about it. And so don't let anybody hold you back. You don't have to force your stuff on anybody, but don't let them force theirs on you. And when we're leaving this artificial influencer world, keep that in mind when you look at these people, especially when every video they remind you of their position, their role in this, in this situation. I'm an influencer. Don't forget, I'm an influencer. I'm influencing you right now. I'm influencing you. And it's just like, I don't know. We need to be influenced into healing and becoming our best version of self so that we can go into a world that is that nobody is sitting there whining and crying about, oh, it's going to hurt my feelings or whatever. Everybody is more independent thinkers, more authentic, loves themselves. It doesn't matter if somebody else doesn't have that view. That's their limiting belief. They haven't seen what you have seen, just as you have not seen what they have seen. And the more that we come together and share perspective, the more that opens our mind even further. So anyways, don't let these people restrict you in your awakening. There is no rules on spirituality. There is your relationship with your creator. That's all it is. There is no well, you can't dance after midnight. You can't say this word or that word. There's none of that. That was always about control. Everything has become so absurd. That's why it got to the point, where they're telling us, go put these on. And at the same time, we're learning about, where they've done that in other countries and stuff. It's all the absurdity coming to the surface so that we start realizing and questioning our reality so that we can change. And, because the earth is changing and we have to change with it. Or, you just go somewhere else, go to another place and go keep experiencing these so that you can expand your mind. Because there definitely is people who, they don't have, they have very limiting beliefs, very limiting. And, you don't want people, you don't want to be influenced by people who are, well, placed to influence you. And plus, just keep you in those limiting beliefs, keep you as a limited being. And you just got to keep remembering you're so much more than that. You're so expansive. The only limitations are the ones you create for yourself. And when you worry about what everybody else is thinking about you, then you're held back by other people's opinions. So that's just another thing to get over. So anyways, I just, after I saw that, I just have not been able to get it off my mind. I've been sitting here waiting for the other one like 2 hours, and it just kept going over and over. I was like, yeah, I do. I just got to go in and I mean, like, that is just like, I have it happen all the time. And I know it's not coincidence. I know everything is like, synchronistic. So I know everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And, I know all of that stuff. It's just so weird sometimes when it's just so obvious. Because when I was talking about that, and then I'm sitting there thinking, God, did I even make any sense? Maybe I just sound like a crazy judgmental person. Just, maybe I sound bitter. Maybe I sound egotistic. Like, you don't know. Everybody can perceive you, however. So even overthinking it. But me just, sitting in that pond, fish throwing it in, throwing in a line, throwing in a line, then the universe is just like, hey, look at this. And it just shows you right what you're talking about. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is what, but I hadn't seen it like that. And seeing it like that was like, oh my God, like they brought me like, they brought me like the A1 show to show me what it was. Like, I can't even tell you how many times this person said they were an influencer. It's like, people got to start realizing. I think even the word followers, when I hear people, my followers, I'm talking to my followers. It's like I'm talking to my flock. It's like it's all on ego. So it is like this, people are trying to develop their own cults or something. And there is no, there should be no cult that would be all based on people not following their own guidance, because your guidance is always going to lead you in a little bit different path than everybody else. You have a unique flight plan in life, and everybody's got their own. So nobody should be just following somebody and being influenced by somebody else. You got to be your authentic, independent self. That's what we're moving into, moving away from. So when you have spiritual now guru leaders that are talking about being your influencer, just go the other direction. Just go the other direction. I learned so much just reading books. Just go get books about spirituality and read books, and you will learn everything you need to learn. You don't need to go and listen to these people. They're going to twist your mind all up. You want your mind to open, not just, go be followed by them or whatever the hell. So anyways, I just wanted to wrap that up. Hopefully now I'll clear that out and go about my day. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.